But go right off the bat. We don't have that much time, so let's just jump right into it. The first question is, how would you describe your sexual education or the sexual education that Black men receive in America? Would you describe it as healthy or unhealthy?
I would describe it as unhealthy. I would describe it as misguided. I would describe it as there is no real sexual education process for the Black man that I've seen in place. I think a lot of the stuff we've learned was secondhand information from either somebody we know, friends, people in the neighborhood, the music, what we see on television. So I don't think there was any real positive sexual education when we was coming up. I don't think there's any positive sexual education going on right now. So I think it's non-existent.
I'd say it's incomplete, right? And I hate to speak in totalities because I think different people have different life circumstances. But if I think about personally, I started to learn about the act of sex in fifth or sixth grade in health class. They start to talk to you about what sex is, which is one piece of it. But the emotional impact of it is I would argue, the greater learning curve surrounding it, right? So especially for young Black men in the absence, especially when I'd say it's more prevalent now, but certainly when we were growing up, the lack of Black male teachers that you're able to have these types of conversations with. So in class, I would learn about what sex is in terms of the interaction, but as far as how do I get that emotional impact around it, that's dependent upon you having Black male role models who have healthy relationships with sex already. And I would say even from a church standpoint, right, like growing up in church is centered around shame, don't do it. But there's much fewer conversations around what does this mean? How does it impact you? How do you wrestle with it across society? So I would say it's incomplete, and there needs to be a much more comprehensive dialogue around sex and what it means for Black men, but just in general for youth.
Yeah. I would also say, for me, it was a combination of things. I had some healthy lessons, and I had some very unhealthy lessons. Of course, the healthy lessons that I've learned was a lot more indirect, was a lot more quieter. Didn't really hear about it. But the unhealthy lessons was in your face. You know, kind of like Aubrey was saying, through the music, through our peers, through just media. That's where I picked up a lot of the things that I've learned about sex growing up, where I had to kind of re-educate myself as I got older. But it definitely did a number on me through my younger years, which caused me to do a number on others. So if we can get into just what we actually learned